Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, welcome. Bringing this story of Jennifer Lewis, 29 years old from Florida, was a child protective investigator for 5 years when she was arrested for falsifying reports. This chick was writing in her reports that she went out to homes and spoke to the families when she really didn't. Listen to this. The Tampa Bay wrote, the Pasco County Sheriff's Office says a former child protective investigator has been arrested for falsifying reports. Sheriff Chris Nacco held a news conference Monday in where he announced the recent arrest of 29-year-old Jennifer Lewis. Lewis worked for the sheriff's office from January 2016 until March 2021. A major aspect of her job was to go out and interview families to ensure children were safe. But last year, authorities say a trainee raised concerns to a supervisor that what Lewis was putting in written reports was not what actually happened. The trainee flagged discrepancies in two reports, specifically in both cases. The trainee came forward and said to her supervisor, there's a problem here. Following protocol, when issues like these are raised, child protective leaderships forward the concerns to the Major Crime Division to investigate. Shortly after the division began questioning Lewis, she resigned very quickly. In the years since, a criminal investigation has continued into her actions. The sheriff department worked with the state's attorney's office to determine charges. Ultimately, two felony warrants were issued for falsifying or altering DCF reports, and Lewis turned herself in on Friday afternoon. I encourage anybody in this organization and anywhere, if there are any concerns, you come forward.
Who is supposed to be protecting children is now accused of falsifying documents. 10 Tampa Bay reporter Liz Crawford found out this is not the first time something like this has happened with a child protective investigator.
3 years ago, a different child protective investigator was arrested in Pasco County for falsifying records. Fast forward to today, and we are looking at a very similar scenario. Now, back in 2019, the department implemented a new policy to prevent things like this, but that is not what caught the wrongdoing. The CPI was being shadowed by a trainee, and the sheriff says that trainee says they saw the wrongdoing and reported it to a supervisor. According to the CDC, 1 in 7 children has experienced child abuse or neglect in the past year.
There are some children that are born in horrific situations, and they're surviving on their own at 5 years old.
Child protective investigators, or CPIs, are tasked with ensuring a child's safety and well-being. In Pasco County, a former CPI is accused of saying she met and talked with people when she really didn't.
They were at the house, but the CPI investigator, Jennifer Lewis, just put her card there. She didn't speak to anybody. But what she put in those reports reflected that she actually spoke to people, which is a lie.
A trainee who was shadowing Lewis told a supervisor that part of the report was a lie. The sheriff's office started investigating, and Lewis quickly resigned.
I applaud the culture we've built in the Pasco Sheriff's Office, is that the trainee had the courage to come forward and say there's a problem here.
CPIs in Pasco County oversee about 27 cases at one time, up from 14 to 20 in 2019 when another CPI was charged with falsifying records. Now, after that incident in 2019, the sheriff's office implemented a policy where supervisors randomly check in on past cases. Now, the sheriff believes that policy would have caught the incident today, but it was that trainee that expedited the process.
And it's important to note here that the sheriff's office did go back. They looked at all 89 cases this CPI, Jennifer Lewis, was responsible for. They say they found that no children were harmed.
Children is arrested for lying in her reports. The Pasco County Sheriff's Office says it's not working to make sure she didn't put other children at risk.
And ABC Action News reporter Eric Waxler has that story.
The unit at the Pasco County Sheriff's Office is known as CPI, Child Protective Investigations. They often deal with cases of abuse and mistreatment. There are reports nationwide of CPI agents who are overworked and can't keep up with their caseloads, but Sheriff Chris Nacco says that's no excuse for what happened here.
A major part of our job is to go out there and interview to make sure, you are that decision to make sure you go to a judge and say, the kid's safe, or to say the kid's not safe and we have to do something about it. That is absolutely critical.
The sheriff's office says CPI investigator Jennifer Wilson lied on her reports, 2 of them, saying she'd interviewed someone. But the truth was she didn't talk to anyone. Instead, she just left a business card. A trainee working with Wilson reported her. Wilson is now charged with 2 felonies for falsifying DCF records.
There are some children that are born in horrific situations, and they're surviving on their own at 5 years old. We wanted to make sure that if we ever got caught out to those situations, that 5-year-old little kid is going to be safe because the Pasco Sheriff's Office is there.
The sheriff's office says they look back at dozens of Wilson's other cases but haven't found any serious problems. In recent years, we've reported on the arrest of other CPI investigators from around the Bay Area for lying about drug tests and falsifying records. The Pasco Sheriff's Office says they are now planning on putting body-worn cameras on all CPI investigators. They were the first department in the Bay Area to use them with deputies.
Kudos to that trainee for taking the initiative. When you see something, say something, especially when it comes to our children. We see many times how our children slip through the cracks of the system, and we know why now. But that trainee did a very good thing. What do y'all think about the CPS workers having to wear body camera devices? In the comment box, let's talk. With that being said, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And hit that notification bell so you'll see when I drop new videos and bring you more content. And guys, follow me on all my platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, all at SistaTalktv.